I'm from ArtisChain. I'm the founder of the company. Before I go any more into details about me or the company, let me tell you a little bit about a problem which we have identified and which we are trying to solve, and then how ArtisChain as a company is trying to solve it. So there is an industry on this planet, global maritime trade. This industry, believe it or not, at this point of time is spending close to $1 trillion in non-value adding processes, supply chain processes on a yearly basis. And eventually that money, some way or the other, is either costing them in their revenue bottom lines or to us as customers also. I would say around $600 per person in US. That's approximate cost to each one of us because of these inefficiencies in the system. A little bit building up on this problem. So this is basically the simplest of the supply chain you can imagine for any participant in that industry. As you can see, it's spread across multiple trust boundaries, multiple enterprise boundaries, multiple geographies. One person could be in Asia, one could be in North America. One is basically a custom agent, or one is a bank. So multiple challenges out there. And what happens is, to solve for all these challenges as such, right, their supply chain basically relies heavily on documentation. And just to give you an example, approximately for any shipment, in the simplest of the supply chain of these cargo shipments, the approximate number of parties involved is 27. The number of types of documents they generate is 36. The number of copies they generate is 270, which could be like this much. And they're spread across the globe, basically. So if you start in the middle, and if the outer circle is basically your business network, this is the amount or the quantum of problems or challenges every participant in this industry has. Now, and this is basically at the end of the day, all of that gets represented by documentation. What I mean by that is like ownership, the tracking, the retrieval, the disposals, and everything else you see here. And believe it or not, it's costing them at least on an average for all the players, if you average it out, like 1/4 of their revenues are being eaten up by just this process as such. So it's a huge hidden cost, and it's imperative if there is something out there which can help them solve this, I think they'll eat it up. So one question before I move on to what we do about this. Actually, you might have a question as to, this industry has been there for the last 400 years in a very formal way. 1648 is when the first trade laws were passed globally and the formal shipping industry started. So the question might come up, why nothing has been changed in the last 400 years, actually. And the reason is that the long tail of the market, which is the 95% of these companies, each one of them hardly owns less than 1/1000th of the market as such. So essentially the long tail of the market is 95%, and being the long tail, basically there are no market makers, there are no standardized top-down processes to be dumped on these people, and then nobody has the financial muscles or the market influences to basically come up with processes and roll it out to everybody. So there is no Walmart out there or big industry players as such, right? So basically what we have, or what we are imagining, is that what if basically instead of these documents going to people as such, right? What if the document was at the universe at the center of the universe and people were coming to it? So in principle, you can think of it like, what if the center is basically your supply chain or your processes represented by documentation, and then everything else is basically looking from outwards inwards. So at least you can, if you cannot solve for the creation part of it, you can solve for the other processes in it and gain some value out of it, right? And couple it with the capacity of, this goes back to that long tail which I was mentioning before. So here, basically every man for himself kind of a scenario. These are all very small players in bigger scheme of things. So they don't trust each other. They're never gonna buy anything somebody else is producing, especially their market competitor. So, so if a big company rolls out a system or something, these guys are not gonna buy it because there is no inherent trust, and everybody basically tries to preserve their territories and things like that. So if you couple this concept with the ability to basically spin off your own trusted business networks on demand, more like in a SaaS model, right? And you just give 3 simple steps, basically. You set up your business network, which gets represented by the center and the outermost circle, and a simple ability to basically just go find and connect with anybody as long as you are on the same platform, right? So the outer and the inner circles get connected, and basically you can just happen to conduct your trusted trade over your own network. So your data resides with you, your business processes reside with you, and all the efficiencies which come out of it, all you are basically the end or beneficiary of those. So with that, in principle, I have some screenshots of our product at this point of time. It's in closed beta. We have 3 customers who have signed letter of intent with us at this point of time in NYC area, and basically they are closely working with us to take this thing to the next level. But just to give you an idea, basically I have 3 slides here, and it just shows you how simple it is to basically just go get working on it. So as far as the setup is concerned, it's nothing more than basically coming here and just declaring your business and just say click my create my business, and off you go. Behind the scenes, basically that single screen is giving you your own blockchain hosted environment. Basically your node has been spun on the cloud. It's under your private ownership. You own it. We don't, right? But you don't have to know anything about technology to use it. Now, this is basically that find and connect capability. It's much like what you are used to with Google as such. It's a free format search. As long as you remember anything about the person you want to connect to, you can just come and start conducting searches, and you can find all the participants on the network. And you can basically just, if you see the highlighted area in the text box there, you can just create a business network of your choice as such, and create basically a private channel between you and that other party. And the other party basically, this is their example of a dashboard. They receive your notification. They can opt in to conduct business with you on a private channel, and then all the other supply chain related activities and functionalities will be exposed on this dashboard. So essentially, it allows you to, at a very low cost, without any kind of a tech burden or cognitive load as such, right? As long as you're used to using Facebook, WhatsApp, or any kind of a browser-based environments, right? It allows you to basically just go in and use it with all the benefits of blockchain without actually being, without knowing anything about blockchain or any of these modern technologies as such. So that's pretty much the promise of this solution as such. And if you find any value in it, if you like to get in touch with us, please contact me at this phone number or at this email ID. At this point of time, we're looking for commercial or investment partners. And that's pretty much it.